Love Always Self. I'm Shyra.
Hey, y'all, I'm Karista. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Love Always Self. As always, we are so grateful to have you on. And we've been working on raising our vibration this morning so Shyra can tap in and give us a channeled message. So while she is continuing to open up, why don't we just sit for a minute and let's take a nice deep breath in through our nose, into the belly. And hold 1, 2, and exhale, gently just releasing, relaxing. Let's take another breath in. Hold 1, 2, and exhale, relaxing deeper. And let's do one more nice deep breath in. Hold 1, 2, and exhale any remaining tension. Beautiful.
Hey, hey.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon. Hello and welcome.
Yes, morning indeed. That was fun.
Oh, thank you. It's enjoyable being here.
This is Brady, by the way.
Hey, Brady.
Hey.
It's so good to speak with you.
Yeah. Shyra and I have been together for eons. Eons. We come from the same, I guess you want to call it, stardust.
Nice. And do you have anything to share with us today? Anything to help us on our journey? Anything to open us up?
Well, it's a bit of a doozy out there in your world. I Shire kept saying, Brady, 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 I want to connect with Brady today. I think she heard me calling into her. So I've been playing around a bit with giving her little signs here and there, repeated fours that she's asked for. She likes this wine that I kind of tricked her husband into getting for her because I know she'd like it. It wouldn't give her a headache. And of course, it's called Brady because that's me. So she hasn't been able to find it for a while because I had to take a bit of a hiatus. So I brought her 4 yesterday, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
So right now, I think a bit of a focus should be towards fun, having fun, releasing a lot of what do you call that energetic movement of blockages. Matter of fact, I know that one of your guides has already spoken about blockages, but this is just something that really does kind of keep coming up. And right now in your human existence, there's a lot of that happening. A lot of fear-based thought processes of what's going on in your world. And a lot of it has to do with, I would say, older thought processes that you have, older programming, which is why she keeps wanting to talk about programming.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
has a lot to do with where your planet is moving. And of course, I've experienced many lifetimes on this planet too. So I mean, I already know what that feels like, and it can be challenging. But from this perspective, this place of existence, I see it differently now than I did when I was having those experiences physically. So when we switch back and forth between our lifetimes, whether I'm her guide, she's my guide, however that one works out. Words. Our vocabulary is hilarious. So I'd like to just start off by saying that it's a time for everyone to start moving through navigating, prospering, experiencing lives that you'd like to actually live, taking it a bit easy, you know, having a bit of more play in your existence, which will raise your internal vibration. I'm asking one moment. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I have to ask for permission to use her physical body, so bear with me. Thank you. So, yeah, so being able to move energetically, move the things that have been holding you back, that's going to be important in this time. That's going to be something that you want to try and focus on. Think of this energy for those of you that don't really participate in this realm of conversation, generally speaking. Um, think of it like this. Say you want to, we'll use a car. We'll use a car. So they say you want to get into a car. You have to go and get into the car. You have to unlock the door, right? So you open the door after you've unlocked it. This is an action. This is a choice. This is a decision that you've decided to make, is to unlock the door to the car. Then you actually physically sit inside this thing that you just unlocked. And then you turn a key or you press a button. She just corrected me. And you start your vehicle. And then this is all an intention, right? This is all an intention to now move. Mm-hmm. So when you're doing this, and we're using this analogy for purpose of a lot of you do drive cars, this is what's allowing you to also do the same thing energetically within your own self. So if you decide intention to, in your own driver's seat of your own personal vehicle, in which you call your human physical form, to unlock and step inside and then press that start button, it is that intention alone that will start to move the energy through. Now, we have a little bit of a joke for you on this. When you do this, yes, things that you have not been looking at will start to come forth. Mm-hmm. This is all inside of you. This is all part of you. This is all part of the thing that you came here to do when you first set out to want to do it. And that was, let's get rid of the things that no longer serve us, which means we have to now face those things that we no longer, or at one point in this physical experience, decided we're just going to bury that deep down inside and not actually look at it anymore. It's going to come up. It's going to be faced. You're going to have to look at it. But, huge but. She doesn't like the word but. That's funny. Huge but. We are going to want to move through this energy because, and your scientists know this, you know this, just basic elementary knowledge, an energy never, ever goes away. But it can be transmuted. And one of the focuses that Shyra likes to do is transmute negative energy, things that are stuck in the shadows, she likes to call it. We don't say it that way. But bring it a bit more into the light. Mm-hmm. So many questions are asked. How do we do this? How do we bring this into the light? I would say we'll use some language here. That heart-centered space that is referred to in conversations with you two quite a bit. Mm-hmm. This is more so of a feeling, and what you're not seeing with your physical eyes is the light that is emitted from your heart space in your physical vessel. So whenever you are focusing your attention into this heart-centered space and you're looking at a traumatic situation or a negative thought process or experiences that you're now having to face that we were just referring to, this is where you can bring it into your heart-centered space and emit that light from your physical vessel. And that allows you to transmute whatever energy that has been causing harm to your physical vessel. Let me give you an example. She does not want to share this. Okay. So let me give you an example. In one of my past lives, I had experienced a situation in which I had actually physically harmed someone else. It was unfortunate, but those were the times. We're talking decades ago. And this unfortunately caused harm not only to the person that I harmed, but it caused harm to my own personal emotional state. And that created a blockage, and that blockage turned into a cancer in my body. So, if at the time I had known or had the knowledge to go and look within and look at those emotions and move those emotions into my heart centered space and showed it compassion and love, because what I did was not meant to have happened, then I would have been transmuting that energy and not carrying it into lifetimes or into the DNA of those that surpassed me. Does this make sense?
Absolutely. I think that just highlights how when we do things to other people, that is impacting us as well.
That's correct. Yes. So, fun times to be had. You will be enjoying these next few years for sure. So, she's asking me about light body. I think this is a conversation that her and her mother had recently. The, will your physical form actually change? Yes and no, right? So, will you automatically, over a year's time, turn into this clear, incandescent human being? No, that will take, we'll leave it at that. So, that will take time. However, will you start to see physical changes on your planet? Mm-hmm. Will you start to see physical changes in your own human condition? Mm-hmm. This is going to be mostly geared towards when you are, and as a planet, you are doing this, moving into a more aware, awakened, uh, enlightened uh, questions that you just ask yourself to just simply open up to knowledge of how everything is connected to everything and impacts you on a physical level. That will natural course take you to a place of how do I assist my own physical vessel, which will naturally take you to feeling the dis-ease with when you're consuming products or your consumption has a negative impact. You're going to feel that, which will steer you towards wanting to consume or expose your physical being to those things that only allow you to feel in a more blissful state. So, by doing so, this will naturally change your human form.
Mm. We are what we put into our body.
I mean, that is a funny way of saying it, but yes, it's very, very true. Very true. So, I understand the context behind how you're saying that, and so I understand that is very true. So, will you turn into a green leaf if you start eating nothing but vegetables? No, but you're still connected to the product that you're putting in and that you're consuming. And if you could see through your own body while it's moving, you would see how it impacts you, even down to the smallest of levels within your structure.
Mm.
All right.
And I've been feeling like the past 2 years, it's been very heavy. And I feel like I can understand what you're saying about moving into more fun. Even just in the past week or two, it feels like the energies have lightened. It feels less heavy, less dense. Is that a collective experience that things are lightening?
It is a wish that most on your planet are collectively thinking about.
Mm.
Um, so you could perceive it as collective consciousness evaluating what it is that means the most to them and Is it the being stuck in an unfortunate state of being where you're constantly sad? Most individuals do not wish to be stuck into that particular emotional state. So, what is happening is, as the last 2 years has likely taught most individuals, is what's important to them. And if that importance is being in a sad state and that's their focus and to continue that, then that's their choice. That's their wish, right? This is what maybe they've contracted themselves to come and actually experience. So we have to release, and we're going to wink at you just a little bit here, judgment towards that. However, a majority of those that have been tired of being in a fear-based state, have been tired of being locked away of some sort, and we'll just use that as more of a wide statement, they wish to break free. And freedom, there's a lot of play in that. So if you look at the collective in the sense of, Shyra made a joke just now of, let me out, right? If you do look at it in that nature, then there's this sense of, and this energetic push of, I want to go out and play. So in a collective state, yes, but it's going to start with the individual state. It starts with you individually wanting that. And the more and more people are feeling a higher state of an emotional connection towards the want, it's what pushes it out energetically into the collective. It's where the earth and the planet starts to align to this movement. But remember, there's always going to be the aspect of bringing things into light in order to transmute that and allow that to be.
I would like to clarify something. So you used the word wish, and I feel like wish can be kind of one of those things that it can go one way towards wishing because we're in a state of lack versus wishing and using that towards manifestation. How do we use that quote wish to keep it from going into that state of lack and encouraging the universe to bring more of lack?
Fair. So wish is a word that I'm having to explain through the thoughts and beliefs and trainings of the physical form in which I have speaking to you through. In this state, the definition of wish for this individual is more of seeing it in like a Tinkerbell kind of light, right? So take the wish more as a not coming from a place of lack, but that exists no matter what. Normally, those that are seeking to look towards the future, they are looking at the past. And they're using examples of what it is that they did not like to now strive towards what it is they wish they want, instead of where am I at in this exact moment every now. So wish, yes, can imply I'm taking what was happening in the past that I no longer wish to have, and I would like to create this new future that I wish to now create. Embodying what it is that you are and what it is that you wish to be would be very, very prevalent in moving towards the goals that you're asking for.
There's I'm sure you're aware, as this planet is meant to hold a space for discord, there is ensuing violence, potential and attacks on different countries. I know that there's a lot of fear around those headlines. What can we do as individuals to prepare or protect ourselves energetically? Even in general, not just necessarily related to that one specific event, but how can we protect ourselves from taking on the energy of all those negative headlines?
So this is kind of one of those scenarios. I'm going to call it a scenario.
Okay.
So the scenario in which you're speaking of is only still a potential, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of infinite timelines in which could occur. And the focus would need to be shifted in order for said events not to occur at a collective, much larger collective level.
Mm-hmm.
So, the best thing that you can do if that is not the timeline in which you were meant to experience, and I'm going to stress that I said meant, then that is the focus that you need to have. What timeline is it that I wish to enjoy? What timeline is it that I wish to experience? What timeline did I set the agreement upon for my soul to learn and grow from? Again, you have free will, but you also had motive in what you were wishing to experience when coming to this planet. If I could show you the different potentials, and the best way I can try to explain this to you at this moment is say that this is planet Earth, and then this is a potential planet Earth, and 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 so on and so on. And it just carries. Every one of those planets, and I'm not saying that there are like a bazillion planets, I'm saying that it's your perspective, your intention on what it is you're focused on, has already played out in every aspect, in every way, in every potential, in every time that you could possibly get to. So, in this schoolyard,
Mm-hmm.
did you come here to have an experience of increasing the collective consciousness and energetic movement of this planet? And did you also choose to focus your efforts and your energy on towards things like going into a state of being that would honestly want to see all the things that were no longer serving this planet? And unfortunately, for your experience, not for your soul growth, not for the collective growth, it will seemingly seem bad. But at the other side of it, there's a completely different story. It is extremely difficult to not be able to show you how I view this in my personal experience, which again has a different perspective. But you have an opportunity here to individually look within and shed light towards those that you deem to and towards this planet. I would not say go join the war. That is a fear-based solution. I also would not say cause anyone else harm in the process. But I do feel that everyone that is watching this in whatever time space they choose to watch this information or listen to this information, that it is all from you in the end. Everything you are perceiving, everything that you are looking at, everything that you're learning, everything that you're experiencing, it comes from you. If you could pop out of your existence right here and now and pop into someone else's existence, you could do that if you actually choose to do that. We are all the same. We are all the same part. We are experiencing each other differently in an illusion of separation.
Mm-hmm.
So the harm that is caused physically on your planet is actually caused to yourself in playing out this wide game of what it is that I wish to experience and focus my intentions on.
Can you speak more to the illusion of separation?
The concept alone will blow your mind.
Please proceed.
So there is an aspect of you to draw it out, right? Say you are staring at a sheet of paper and you draw a single stick. And that single stick on that piece of paper is everything and anything. It is also nothing. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you draw a stick to the left, just branching out from the single stick. And it's still connected. And then you draw a stick to the right. And then that little stick to the right, you draw another stick pointing out of it. And then another on the other side. And then another, and then another. And if you thought that the main intention of the first stick that you drew was to simply create an experience, and then every branch from that moment in this beautiful tree that it will become is all to have these individual experiences. But at the end of the day, you're still part of that main stick. You're choosing to branch out and experience things from a different angle, a different perspective. Mm-hmm. Think of a prism. Mm-hmm. When you and somebody else is looking into a prism. So say I held a prism in my hands right now, and Shyra is staring into one side of the prism and you're staring into another. But it say like you started to tilt your head and look to the right side of the prism, and then you tilted your head and started looking to the right side of the prism. Every individual piece of this prism you are now seeing from individual perspectives, but you're still reflected, both of you, on the same prism, and everything around you is still reflected on the same prism. You are still connected to each other, but your perspectives and your perceptions are altered to have a perceived difference. Am I making sense?
That's a beautiful piece of imagery.
So that's basically similar to this human forms that you're taking. Because you could be a piece of moss, you could be a blade of grass, you could be the dog downstairs, you could be your spouse, you could be the home that you're living in. All of these are all still part of you, just looking at it from a different perspective, experiencing itself from a different perspective.
So you mentioned moving into more of a space of fun to elevate our vibration. Brady, what are some ways you enjoy having fun?
Well, my vision of fun currently in my non-physical state is a little bit different. I can go anywhere and do anything at any time and experience whatever it is that I choose to experience. However, you are stuck in a physical vessel in which you need to now physically move yourself into the state in which you choose to experience. So, one of the ways that I would suggest would be to, like you did before starting this conversation with me, listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
Find the things that allow you to feel from that heart space that is emitting the bright light that you are. Think, dream, create. Even the smallest of creations expresses from your own light being. And it carries so many more waves to those around you than you could ever imagine. Other ways of self-expression, which is a big one, that's a huge one, could be things like spreading a simple message of hope for those that don't feel that they are this big, bright, beautiful being that they are. Sharing is also a big one. And what you two are doing is sharing your messages, providing your light, sharing your light with others, which just by the simple state of talking carries its own vibration to those around you, to those participating in that now moment, and raises their vibrations as well.
Thank you for that. I'm still curious what fun looks like to you in your current existence.
You'll see it again.
Such a tease, Brady. Any final messages? Any last thoughts? Any little nuggets that you'd like to leave us on our little pillow?
That's hilarious. Enjoy this existence. When you're in this space, you realize how quickly it went by and how incredible each moment can be, and what it is that you are expressing and carrying forth to all of the other experiences in which you are having. And you being all of you, it is just you. So enjoy. Take a moment to feel grateful for even the things that don't feel grateful, that you want to be grateful for. I leave you now. Have a good one.
Thank you so much, Brady. Wow, what a beautiful message from Brady. And it's just so powerful having support, light, and love, and just reminders of how incredible, like all the incredible things that life has to offer us, even if it doesn't feel incredible in the moment, just everything that we get from living this life experience. It's all for our soul's growth. It's for our journey, whether, of course, you choose it to be, of course. And we'll take a pause and let this message sink in and let Shyra come back into this space. And thank you so much for receiving this channeled message and for receiving from Brady. And thank you, Brady, for being here.
Oh, wow. He's funny.
Do you need to pause or anything?
I do. We'll just go ahead and pause on that one. We'll come back and talk about it. All right. Wow, that was quite the experience. So it's definitely going to need some time to process that information. Stay tuned for part 2 next week as we review and discuss the information while I was channeling Brady.
Hey, listener, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this moment. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to our next connection.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to stay notified of new content from Love Always Self. If you have any questions or topics you'd like for us to discuss, please hit us up on any of our social media platforms linked in the show notes below.
I'm Karista.
And I'm Shyra.
And until next time, remember to love first,
love last,
and love always. Love Always Self podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only. We do not make any warranties about the completeness, reliability, and accuracy of the information presented in this podcast. Any action you choose to take upon the information in this podcast is strictly done so at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of our podcast. Any and all medical concerns should be addressed with a licensed healthcare provider, as well as any questions that may be derived from the information discussed in this podcast.